Can you imagine if it were you? You, the one whose greatest worry yesterday was whether the wine would be red or white at tonight's celebration. You, the one who held a warm cup of coffee, who laughed in the morning sun, who dared to believe the world was just. But I am not you, not anymore. I am what remains when the veil is torn. I am the after. It began in the lull of day, between thoughts, between moments. There was no warning, only the sudden tearing of fabric, the shriek of command, the gloved hand clamping down on my shoulder. My name, they said, was not my own. My papers, they said, were forged lies. A mistake, I protested, a grievous, grotesque mistake. But to the machine, I was only a number now, a digit misaligned, a soul misplaced. They chained me, yes, chains, like some howling beast. Shackles bit into flesh, not yet accustomed to pain, and a blindfold reduced my world to muffled screams and burning diesel. What tribunal could justify such haste? What court of justice, what system of order could permit a man to be erased in hours? I tried to scream, I tried to plead, but the silence was louder than any answer. When the blindfold was at last removed, I did not recognize the sky. It was heavy, bruised, low and groaning like a lid upon a pot. The air choked of dust and something more foul, something ancient and rotting. I was led, or rather dragged, through iron gates blackened with blood and rust. Overhead, barbed wire sang in the wind like the strings of a broken harp. And there, in that accursed place, my name was stolen. I am no longer the man I was. Here they call it a prison. But it is not a prison. It is a tomb for the living. A cathedral of agony where sadistic guards rule with steel fists and eyes like dead glass. I was cast into a cell scarcely larger than a coffin. Mould bloomed from the walls, wet and green like the skin of a drowned corpse. My cellmate, a man with teeth filed to points, laughed when he saw me. "New meat," he whispered, and then he said no more. That silence, I have learned, is more terrifying than his words. There are others like me, ghosts from another life. They cry in tongues I cannot understand. One man sings lullabies to a severed doll's head. Another carves names into his flesh with a nail pried from the floor. They are me and I am them. We are the forgotten. The guards amuse themselves with cruelty. Each morning they march in, jackboots clicking like clockwork, dragging prisoners out into the yard. There are games, they say, games of strength, of obedience, but they are not games, they are rituals, offerings of blood and bone to gods I dare not name. I've seen men forced to crawl through broken glass, others drowned in barrels for the sin of disobedience. Today, they made us fight. Not with fists, but with blades, rusted, bent, screaming with disease. I refused. I knelt instead, begging to be spared from becoming the thing they wanted. So they beat me. I do not remember how long, only that the world blurred into black stars, and that I woke with one eye sealed shut and a mouthful of iron. And yet I'm still here. At night I dream. Or perhaps I do not dream. Perhaps the prison seeps into sleep, colouring it with the same foul hues that paint the walls. I see a house I once knew, a door I once opened, a voice I once loved, but they melt like wax in fire, always just out of reach. And then comes the laughter. It begins low, almost musical, and it grows. It becomes a cacophony of madness that fills every corner of my skull. until I claw at my ears to stop it. But the sound is not outside, it comes from within. I am unraveling. Do you hear me? You, sitting comfortably behind your screens, sipping your coffees, talking of rights and justice. Do you see me? Do you understand the horror of being erased? I am innocent. I was taken by mistake, but the machine does not care. The machine eats souls. I wrote letters once, dozens of them, to embassies, to news stations, to anyone who would listen. I scratched them in blood when ink was not available, but the guards only laughed and burned them in front of me. They said the world does not know where I am. They said the world does not care. I believe them now. There's a rot in this place, a living thing that feeds on hope. Every day I feel it feasting on mine. It coils in my gut. It whispers that I will die here, and worse, that no one will know. But still I write. With broken fingernails I carve my name into the wall. It is all I have. A name, a memory, a defiance, however small. Perhaps one day, long after my bones have become dust in these cursed halls, someone will find this. They will read these words. They will remember that I was a man. I had a name, I had a life, and the world forgot me.